Hey guys, welcome to DETALKS. My name's Levi Gates, and with me, a man I met while I was in the UK 2 years ago, Mr. Jon Delieu of Forensic Detailing Channel. John, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hello, America. Hello, Levi. Good to see you all, and I hope you're all doing well. It's freezing cold over here, but I'm looking forward to having a good catch up and chat. It's been a long time, hasn't it?
It has been a long time. I think it was either the springtime or it was early summer the last time we talked, and we had you on the live, and the one thing people said more than anything was you didn't let John talk. I wanted to hear his story. And so
Don't let me get started. I'll never stop.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing was we were like, oh, well, we thought people were coming in to watch the live, but a lot of people were just tuning in because they wanted to hear from you. And so we thought, well, we better give the people what they want, and they want a big old heaping cup of John. So, dude, I want to first say thank you for, one, being my friend, two, being such an amazing human being, and everything that you're doing for the detailing world over there and the detail industry. I think your YouTube channel is probably one of the best for a deep dive into products and into the what it's like. It's a forensic detailing channel. Like, you really go into the science of the product. You test, you torture test, you really give it a real world shot where it's, you in your driveway or your garage, and you're working on stuff, and you're doing time tests, and you're doing a whole bunch of stuff. And I've been fortunate enough to be invited to your home to actually hang out and spend time with you at your house, and I thank you for that. It's great. I was just thinking of that day we were sitting out in your backyard on your picnic table, and I thank you. So, tell us.
It was Beadmaker launch, wasn't it? Beadmaker time back then.
We did, yeah. I smuggled in a bottle of Beadmaker for you.
Yeah.
So tell us, how did you get started? What was the start of the channel? Just tell me everything.
Well, the detailing channel, I got a camera to do music. I was interested in music. I saw these YouTube channels being started. So I bought the camera primarily for music. And I noticed that wasn't going to do anything quite early on that channel. I knew it wasn't going to do anything. And I thought, well, I've got the garage there. I'm doing some of this stuff on detailing. I'm interested in it. I'm interested in the product side. Let's just talk about detailing. And I did some videos without any research where I literally just talked. And surprise, surprise, because you know about YouTube, no one watched my videos when I started because they weren't right for YouTube, and you've got to give a bit more, haven't you? So I thought I'll have one more shot at doing this before giving up after about a month. I'll have one more shot, and I'll go and buy a load of wash mitts. I'll get like 15 of them, and I'll work my way through them and tell everyone which one I think is the best, which one I think is the worst. And I did like an hour video on that, which was a rubbish video, and everyone said you didn't use them properly, we didn't see anything. But despite all of that criticism, what I noticed is people actually watched and tuned in, and like, it wasn't a video that just insta died and just it started gathering momentum. You see some videos, don't you? You publish them and people watch them for the next kind of couple of years. So I noticed that there was some interest in the best of videos.
Yeah.
So I started doing more. I did the best buffing cloth, which is when I got to kind of know you guys, I suppose, or the rag master as it was back then in the UK. And then I did the drying towels, and then I did detail sprays, and we've done pre-washes, we've done snow foams, we've done soaps, as you guys call them, or foams, shampoos. We've done wheel cleaners, and I'm trying to work my way through every genre of product, pick a popular field, test them and show people the results, and then people can decide if that's a fair test, if that test is interesting. Some people don't care about how much it costs, some people don't care how long it lasts. There's all these different criteria, so we try and test them all, rate them all, give you the results, and then let people have a good old chat in the comments about which one they think is the best. And we've been kind of doing that for the last 3 to 4 years with the added kind of the obligatory how to clean your tires, how to clean your glass, how to clean your engine bay, which you've got to cover. So that's kind of the channel in a nutshell, and it's been good fun.
Yeah. And you do this all out of your garage, and you do all these real world tests on your vehicles that you own.
Yeah, virtually all the testing I do is done on my own cars or family cars, or test panels. You know, the scrapyard
Yep.
junk
Big fan
panel
of
that
this.
sits there. I've
Big
got about
fan of the
3 of them.
scrapyard.
Yeah, yeah, and test and purpose-made flat square test panels. And the channel started, I had no equipment or nothing, so it's all improvised. And now I've got some decent equipment actually for testing all this stuff. The test plates that you see on the panel, the Gonio photometer. I'm doing a wheel dressing video at the moment where I'm borrowing something called a darkness meter. You guys would love this. It measures the darkening effect of a product, so you can.
Oh, okay.
You've got rubber or trim, and you can put your dressing on it, measure the darkening effect, hit it with a wave of detergents, or leave it outside, or pop it on the side of your car, test it a month later, you know, and get the meter reading, and it allows you to create data around performance.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I've got some good kit now.
So what got you like, so you got the camera for music purposes, but what was it that detailing, was it just a hobby for you? Was it something you were intrigued in? Like, what made you decide, oh, heck, I'm going to do these wash mitts instead? Like, were you just wandering the aisles and looked for something to make a video
was always
on?
kind of a hobby for me. It was a hobby for me. I had the van. I did it as a little bit of a sideline, but I didn't do it for very long, and I didn't enjoy it. But my background, the way I got into detailing, was through collision repair. So I did or used to do collision repair projects as mainly fun. And I think I said to you before, I could get better prices from the body shop. They just sprayed it and gave me the raw panel unpainted, and then I'd mop it.
Right. Yeah.
So I would mop the panels to save money with a cheap Silverline rotary. That's how I got started. And I had all sorts of problems doing that, mainly buffer trails, not doing a very good job on the panel, probably making it look worse. And then I kind of slowly improved how I polished with a rotary, but I still found it a bit of a pain to buff out all these panels. And that's when I started researching all these other forms of polishers, dual action polishers, free spinning, force rotation. I went and bought them, and you could say the love affair with polishing and detailing started at that point. And yeah, I've never looked back. It's been a kind of all in thing. You can't go half-hearted into doing YouTube. You've just got to go full throttle, all in, or else, and keep going as well. That's one thing with YouTube, isn't it? You have to keep constantly pushing.
Yeah, it became another job for you.
It's become a full-time thing. Yeah, it took a few years. I mean, I'm from a corporate IT background originally, but I knew I didn't. You know, I'd had enough of that. I hate computers. I'm a technophobe. Although I can still do all the editing and wing my way around them. But I love cars. I'm a petrol head, and I love detailing. And I think I am one of the luckiest people out there. Really, I got into detailing at the right time, and I got into YouTube at the right time, which was very early. I think you guys were starting your channel. I think around about the same time as me. We're talking about 5 years ago. I remember Dane did some videos on microfiber and GSM and all those sorts of things.
Yeah, the very first Dane Explains, as he called it.
They were useful. They were good videos. And you know, it's an addiction, but you've got to keep your foot on the floor. If you take your foot off the floor now with YouTube forgets you very quickly, doesn't it? You've got to keep the content rolling.
Like I said, we're always trying new ways to find out how we can produce something or create something or do something. And I feel like now during the pandemic, there's a greater need now more than anything to provide content for folks, you know, just to give everybody a break. And I feel like it's really become like a heyday for creators to basically get stuff out there, as well as, you know, we joke that we've seen great, I mean, it's true, we're seeing great sales in the industry of detailing, but a lot of home hobbyists. And so we looked and thought, you know, the first month of lockdown, people clean their houses. So they read blogs and videos and stuff on how to clean their surfaces in their house, and microfiber was a main topic. So they buy a whole bunch of towels to use, and then they'd get all those cleaned, or they get their honeydew lists finished. And then it was like, all right, should I clean my car? How do I do that? And then in their home, so they just watch YouTube. And here in Idaho, the car washes were closed. You couldn't take your car down to the car wash. You basically just had the jet washes available to you. And so a lot of people were just like, well, figure out how to do it ourselves. We'll figure out, I've got time, So I don't know if you've seen any of that, if you've noticed more growth in viewers since the start of the pandemic.
In the UK, it's exactly the same. The whole economy just like went nosedived when we went into lockdown, except for the detailing economy, which suddenly boomed and went the other way, didn't it?
Yeah.
So all the detailing businesses are busier than ever because, just like you say, all the blokes, or 90% of the blokes in the country, are at home going mad. And the first thing you want to do is get away from the missus, get outside and clean the car. So the cars were getting a lot of love, and we weren't even allowed really to drive them unless we were going to the food shops to pick up food. So it was a big boom. I think that's tailed off a little bit now.
Yeah.
Even with the second lockdown, but there was a big boom and a bit of a increase in YouTube views as well around the time that the first lockdown kicked in. Been a very, very strange year for everyone. Such a strange year, having all your freedoms taken away almost for certain periods where you're in lockdown. That's bizarre, and that took some getting used to. I mean, I don't know about you, but it feels like I've barely done anything this year apart from, mope around.
Yeah, no, we've been fortunate that we've been able to work and be here. But what we did was we went into the lockdown as well. And they basically said, hey, if you're in an office, you go home. We keep our main packing staff. And then what we built was our studio. I mean, we literally finished with all the stuff that like the subcontractors could do literally the week before lockdown happened. And so all of a sudden we had an empty building, freshly sheetrocked, fresh electrical, lights, outlets, and we could basically decorate it and move in and get all our stuff done. And so it was one of those where it was like, okay, well, let's do our videos and stuff. We'll do some podcasts in the morning and do some emails. And then the afternoon, we'd come in and play. And we'd literally put in a floor lift or put in Swiss Trax flooring or put up our airlines and get everything. And so for us at the Rag Company, we were fortunate enough to be able to build. I got to get out of the house. My wife is still very jealous of me because I got to leave. She had to stay home with the kids, and the kids were not going to school, and she was like, I'm not used to this. So I feel like when this all goes and smooths back over and the kids are back in school, I owe her a lot.
You're going to be on babysitting duty for the next 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got that new darkening tool. What are some of the other things that you're looking to find or use, or what are some of the things that you're noticing within the industry that people are focusing more on, or what you've seen in your channel? Kind of what's the stuff that you've noticed that you've seen a lot of traction, or where you think it's going?
Well, I'm always looking for more test equipment, but I don't think there's that much more out there. You can get. I'm very lucky to have this Gonio photometer that measures everything, which is useful to a point. It's a very clever bit of kit. Very it's an R&D bit of kit, and it gives you things that your eyes can't read, which is great for measuring gloss. It's great for measuring haze in fine surface gloss. I've got this darkness meter at the moment, which I'm boring. There's not that many more bits of equipment that I know of that I could use that would be of that much use. Most of the other stuff is kind of testing how the products work, how they are to apply, how long they last. Can you knock them off a panel with car shampoos and stuff like that? And it's trying to test the products across a whole range of stuff and do it fairly, and also mix up the testing as well. Because I think one point that a lot of the people that watch raise is there's a big difference between playing around with test panels and just getting them on cars as well, and that's true. So yeah, we try and mix it up. We're not always 100% accurate, but most of the tests, I think, the recommendations that we've done if I look back over them, they're all very, very solid. They're all solid, especially the buffing towel one that the rag company one.
That's right. I remember when Jeff found out, and he was so excited, and I think he used that as a bit of marketing clout for a few years because of that.
Videos,
yeah, yeah.
That was a little bit too long, that video, but I'd be able to condense that video down now to 10 minutes. And it would be more watchable, and probably more enjoyable rather than 10 hours. But no, it was great fun to do it. It's great fun. That was part of the addiction. I think when you first get into detailing, you discover that there's a whole umbrella of companies out there that you never knew existed that can offer you things. The rag company are an example of that. Specialists. You're a microfiber specialist primarily.
Yeah.
And the range and choice that you get by knowing these companies are out there is fantastic, isn't it? Because no disrespect to my walk-in detailing store, we've got a big store in the UK called Halfords, which is a bit like your AutoZone. And is it AutoZone you've got over in America?
We've got AutoZone. Yeah, we've got AutoZone, we've got O'Reilly's, and Advanced Auto Parts, and then NAPA. So those are the four kind of big chains. Yeah, but they're like Halford. Yeah, that's what I hear.
You go into those stores and they will have a little pack of cheap terry cloths, thin terry cloths that are 50 cents each. And you compare that to what you guys are selling. You've got open pile cloths, you've got dense, thick microfiber, you've got edgeless, you've got suede, you've got silk edges, you've got these warped, twisted loop towels. You've got the mitts, you've got the blocks, you've got everything. Oh, yeah.
Well, and it's crazy because I joke that's one of my favorite things to do is to go into any of the big box stores and find microfiber. And then I like to flip it around, see where it came from and what the chemical makeup is. And my favorite is I call it the one that's hard to find is the 95.5, 95% polyester, 5% polyamide. Yeah. Everywhere else, like either 100% polyester, which don't absorb anything, or my favorite is the biconstituent fiber, 55% or something like that. And it's just a mixture. They don't know what it is. It's just a bunch of fibers mixed together. So
we get that as well. You get some, it feels nice and fluffy, but when you actually try and absorb stuff with it, it doesn't absorb anything because, like you say, it's 95% polyester and there's no polyamide in it. You can feel it as well, can't you? It's kind of wiry.
Yeah,
we get that, and you think you're getting a good deal, but you're not because you can dust with it, and that's about all you can do with it. You can't really wipe products off with it. So I mean, having these specialists out there is the biggest thing I think people can take away from detailing. Building up your little kind of list of all your favourite specialists for all the different areas of detailing, and that's part of what the channel tries to help people to do. So we can go through every category. And hopefully you could go to the Forensics Detailing channel and we'd have a test on there that shows all the different products and the ones, that have tested well. And that doesn't mean to say that the ones that haven't won are no good,
Yeah, right.
It's just, you have to, if you're going to do a best of video, you're essentially pitting products up against each other. And it's the one that wins that tends to get all the plaudits, isn't it? But,
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, what I like is that because you do so much on these tests and things, it's really a great way and a great resource for people who have always been on the fence, to be able to watch and actually learn. Because what I love about what you're doing is you put in the time to actively have the products used the way they're supposed to. Most people don't use a product as the way it's directed on the bottle or the label, or they use too much, or, you always take the time. And so what's fun is seeing your tests on a product is I know that if you're signing off on it, I know there's reasons for it. And half the time, Anthony and I, when we're pulling products to test, first thing we do is see if you've tested it first. And then we'll watch and see what you say. And we're like, okay, well, let's go out and play. And then we walk out on the other side of the wall here and use a product. And it's like, okay, that's exactly like what John said it would do. So you help us in our testing.
That's come, Levi, from if you get it wrong. You if you ever get it wrong, you get told instantly by loads of people. So you have to get it right. And it's very easy to make when you're doing testing, say 15 products, and you're doing 10 tests. and you're collecting data, and some of those tests you might be collecting 50 or 60 bits of data, and then you've got another test that's collecting 20 bits of data on price or whatever. To get one mistake in the video is very easy, and if you do, the people that watch are very unforgiving, which is kind of right. If you spot something that's wrong, don't you? You always, it's part of human nature. We pull it up. So
right. Yeah.
I think as I've done the test more, I look at the video before I publish it, and I make sure. Well, I don't always make sure. I try to think, anyone watching this, what are they going to say is wrong? What mistakes are in there, and I try and get it right. I try and follow the instructions on the products as well, because that is important. If you go off piste, then the manufacturer of that product is very entitled to say that test is completely invalid,
right?
Because you're using the product not as stated. So you have to be careful about that as well and try and do it fairly.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of a lot of YouTubers, everybody's got an opinion, but the problem is that everybody doesn't know how to, utilize that product in the right way, but they also don't know about the comeback. They don't realize that once you get to be as large as you do, or like us or Matt or some of the other channels, if you're using a product wrong and you're providing a false information, that manufacturer can come back and go like, hey, like, don't mess with our product. Like, and I think a lot of detailers don't, and I don't know if it's like this in the UK, but in the US, we have a term that me and some of the other guys have termed, we call it bro science. And it's detailers who try and be a bench chemist, so to speak. They're guessing, but they don't have an education in it. They're just sure. Well, it worked on this car that I've done, and this is why I use this product. And every once in a while we'll get a true chemist on to ask that, like, so what's the deal with this that we've heard? And then we get the real answer. And sometimes those bro science guys are just flat out wrong.
Yeah, wrong. Yeah. I think understanding the chemistry is really important. When I started the channel, I had zero, and I mean zero, I'm just got to get the angle of the O right, zero chemistry knowledge.
Yeah.
Now, but the thing is, when I started, if you'd have asked me, what's your chemical knowledge of detailing products like, John? I'd have said, it's brilliant. I know everything. But if you ask me now what my chemical knowledge of products is, I would say I know about 1% of the 100% now. But I'm careful enough now to try and make sure I keep that on point and don't get that wrong, because there are some clever people out there. If you get anything wrong chemically as well, someone will pull you up on it very, very quickly. There's some like proper chemists that watch my channel as well, and if I say the wrong thing, it's like, no, you got that wrong. I'm like, oh, sorry. But chemistry, I've noticed that there's a lot of kind of talk about chemical things out there, and I don't think that many people, if you could gather up all the people on the face of the planet that really understand formulating, detailing products, mixing them together, and how some of these materials behave and work, there wouldn't be that many people, would there? You'd be talking like 50 to 100 specialists.
Exactly. Well, and that's the one thing that I think it's hard for a lot of us to, like, a lot of people don't seem to understand is any of us that are giving out this information, we try and always do our due diligence. And I know that for Anthony and I, when we get ready to release something, the reason we don't bring on any white label products or private labeled products or anything like that is because we can't fully verify all the science behind it or verify all the chemicals behind it, because usually there's certain brands will basically put up a wall and say, well, that I'm not giving you my information, or you don't get my SDSs, or you don't get certain things that, we're entitled to. And so for us, that's why I work with the chemists and the companies that we do, is so that I can get that direct line. And the first thing Anthony and I do with every product is sit down, have a meeting. We've been doing a lot of these virtual ones like with you here, where we're just, all right, this product, what's in it? Why does it do what it does? Tell us everything about it. This product, what does it have in it? What does it do what it does? And why does it work that way? And it's so that we can learn and get the notes that we need, and then we can then deliver that information, hopefully in a very exciting, more fun way than, just like a actual lecture so to speak. So it's something we can do.
Yeah, I mean, people are hungry for that sort of information as well, Levi. If you can give people info on what is in those products and what they do and why they're in there, people love that. That's the sort of stuff that gets repeated. You can hear, you might do a video that says something, and then you suddenly hear other people saying what you've said later on. That's always a good sign, I think.
Yeah,
You've passed on some good information.
that's true. So plug yourself. How can people find you? How do they watch the channel? All that good stuff.
Okay, so you can find us on the Forensics Detailing channel. That's the name of the channel on YouTube. And we're also on Instagram with the same name. And we have a Facebook page. And yeah, that's where I am. I'll be down in my freezing cold garage doing more tests for you. And come and join me on the channel to see the results of those tests.
There we go. Awesome, Jon. Thank you, man, for being a part of this. Thank everybody for watching. Make sure you go check out Jon's show. And again, those of you watching, listening, make sure you comment, like, share, and subscribe. And for more videos, stay tuned right here at the Rag Company YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.